back to Mini Lessons with Miss H. And today we're going to do page 28, Unit 1, Week 3. So this lesson focuses on genre, literary element. All right. So we're going to look at different ways that an author gives us clues to figure out what the genre is. So we always survey the text, right? We always survey the text. After surveying the text, we write our prediction, right? So here I see the perfect reading partner. That's the title. And here I see an illustration and I see a girl with a little cat. And they're reading on a couch. So based on that, my prediction is the girl loves to read with her cat. Now we're going to read the story all together. Don't forget, you should always have something like a marker like we have in our classroom. You can use a ruler to practice your efficiency when it comes to fluency, all right? Here you go. Reading was not easy for Lizzie. One day her cat Gumbo jumped in her lap while she was reading. Lizzie read aloud to Gumbo. She did not make one mistake. Gumbo was a great listener. So reading was not easy for Lizzie. That is our problem. And Lizzie is our character. One day, that's a setting, her cat Gumbo jumped in her lap while she was reading. Gumbo is a character. Lizzie read aloud to Gumbo. She did not make one mistake. Gumbo was a great listener. So Gumbo helped her read correctly. Wow. I wonder if my prediction was correct. Let's see. The girl loves to read with her cat. So based on that, I can tell you that Jumbo was a great listener. She loved to have Gumbo, was a great listener. She loved to have Gumbo reading with her. Therefore, he made her love to read because she read A+. Wow. Now let's look at the questions. Answer the questions about the text. Number 1. How can you tell this text is fiction? Fiction. So let's review what characteristics a fiction story has, right? The story has made up characters and events. So fiction, made up characters and events. That's our first characteristic. Do we have made up characters and events in this story? Yeah, I don't think Lizzie really does exist, and I don't think Gumbo really exists. So in this story, I think they're made up. And if you notice, look at the illustration. If they were real characters or real people, they would have had a photograph instead of an illustration. Has a beginning, middle, and end. Beginning, middle, and end. Does this story have a beginning? Yeah, it was not easy for Lizzie to read. In the middle, Gumbo jumped. And at the end, she did not make one mistake. She read perfectly. So yes, this story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Our problem is introduced to us in the beginning, and then it is solved in the end of the story. So this is how we're going to write. We always steal from the question. This text is fiction because it has made up characters and events. So that's our biggest reason why this story is a fiction story, right? Now I'm going to give you... All right, now you have 1 minute to copy your answer. Ready, set, go. All right, awesome. Number 2. What happens at the beginning of the story? So when something happens, it is an event. In the beginning, another way to say beginning is start. So now let's think. What happened in the beginning of this story? So we always copy from the question. At the beginning of the story. Now, this one I want you to do all by yourself. I want you to think about what did we underline in the beginning? What did we annotate right at the beginning of the story, okay? And you have 1 minute to do this. Number 3. What happens in the middle? Happens, event, in the middle of the story. So that's, what does Gumbo do? Gumbo does something in the middle of the story. So let's steal. Here we go. In the middle. Now look back and you have 1 minute to answer what did Gumbo do in the middle of the story. before. What happens at the end? So usually at the end we have a solution, right? So how was Lizzie's problem solved? Let's steal at the end. Now think. What happened at the end of the story here? What happened at the end? Find your answer. Now you should be answering your question. At the end, awesome. Now don't forget what fiction is. Fiction has made up characters and events. It has a beginning, middle, and an end. So when you are reading to understand, try to figure out the clues the author has given you to help you understand that this is a fictional story. So when I am teaching, I tell you guys if it's fiction, then the story is fake. It's a story that can be real, but it has made up characters and events. All right? How can this story be real? You can sit down and read a story to your cat or your dog or your friends or whoever. That can be a real thing that can happen. But in this specific story, we know it's made up because there's no specific evidence that tells us it's a real story. All right. Now, if the story was about a biography, which is the opposite of fiction, then we would know that's what was a real story. So a biography tells you about events about a person's real life. Okay? Don't forget, hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the homework help. And this way, you can do your homework all by yourself here with Ms. H. See you later.